Hey guys, I said at the beginning of all this podcast stuff that I would include updates about progress on the boat, but I kind of just slipped into my old ways of doing my old Facebook videos. Which, if you have, or I mean, if you're subscribed to the podcast, but you don't know, there's a bunch of stuff for years that I've been putting up on the Facebook page for Andromeda. So if you enjoy the stuff that I do, or you're curious, you're bored, more than likely, you can check that stuff out. I'm definitely not going to migrate all that stuff, but there is a ton of content over there. But I want to start diversifying because Facebook is for old people. I'm sorry for the people who are on Facebook, but it's true. So anyway, what got me to thinking about this is normally my updates are just about the work, and this update is more just about me. I like my podcast to be pretty much about, conversation, human issues. It's not a podcast about boat building. It's not about progress updates, which is what got me to thinking about it. I was thinking about myself and the toll that this project is having on me, and I thought there's a lot of people out there who probably can sympathize, empathize with that. And I figured, what the hell? Let's get started doing this. Updates on the boat and other types of conversations. It's been really slow for me. Not just me. It's been slow in Key West for tourism this season, I should say. Season is pretty much between Christmas and the end of spring break. That's the busy season here, and it's been exceptionally slow. Part of that has to do, the weather hasn't been so super incredible for us. It's not so bad for the rentals that I do, the Tiki Suites business that I have. It's nice out here even when the weather isn't very nice because I built them in such a way that you can still enjoy yourself even when the weather is not very nice. And the one thing I actually will say about the weather being crappy, and by crappy I should qualify that as meaning windy. When it is windy and overcast, I still love it because the ocean is more active. It just looks more beautiful. Oh yeah, I guess I could just show you this too. Here, so let me flip the camera around. So I'm here in the master. There we go. So it's not super windy today, but it is windier. And the waves are just so nice. I love it. But when it gets more windy, it's exceptionally windy, and when you can't really go out on tour boats or any of that because it's just too windy, the waves are even choppier. I like that too. I like standing in the comfort of my protected, sheltered boat and staring out into the choppy waters, drinking a cup of something warm, comforting. I guess it's similar to, watching a thunderstorm from your house. Something nice about that, But anyway, quick update on what I'm doing here in the boat. This is the master cabin. This is the floor. I tore it all out. I was going to tear out all of the joists, and then I realized I didn't buy enough materials to rejoist the whole thing, which was good in the end anyway, because a lot of the joists are still in good shape. This section over here was the worst. It had the most termite damage. So I tore out those, reinstalled those. But, didn't really think a whole lot about it. It would have been easier for me to just go back to the store and buy the joists and tear them all out than it is for me to have to piece all of this stuff together. And then with my plywood, I cut them into 4-foot sheets because the day that I brought them, the weather started turning bad, and then they were getting rained on, and then the wind was picking up, so I said I got to get them in. So I just cut them in half so I could handle them, and brought them in. So that sucks. But the problem with them being 4-foot pieces is now they're not even 8-foot pieces. So I have an additional joint that I've created. And these are not spaced properly. I don't know what they were thinking when they put these in, but it was not 16-inch centers or even 12-inch centers. It's like randomly they'll work out. So I end up having to shorten down my length. My joints are going to be just one joist apart, which I'm not too thrilled about. There's going to be sections like this where I got to put in just a carrier piece to connect it to the next sheet of plywood, which I don't like that. It's just more work, more headaches. I got a center line down through here. I used my laser level last night and created a plumb So I created a line all the way down through just because it's good to know where the center is. It's pretty much the only constant thing here. And then you just build outward, right? So I go 4 foot over, and then I began my piece along the wall, because as the boat curves inward, you know, that works along there, and then there's stuff I got to cut around. It's just, it's a pain in the ass. It really is. This is day 3 or 4 I've been working on this. I don't even know. I'm just trying not to think about it, to be honest. I get overwhelmed with all the work that I have to do. But then, yeah, like I said, I got to go put in this foam board, which is just time consuming. Very time consuming, fitting it all in here. It would have been so nice if I could have just ripped these at 16 inches or whatever, 14 and a half. Bam, threw them all in there. C'est la vie, I'm this far now, so I got to continue on. I just finished up this corner over here with the framing. I've got this epoxy fiberglass mixture here that I'm using to firm this up, because this is only screwed into this fiberglass beam here, so it's pretty wobbly. That'll firm all that up. Goes up and around over there. This one I already did do sawdust and stuff all over it, so you can't quite see, but you know, it's solid. Same thing with there. A lot of this work I am absolutely not proud of, but the fact of the matter is, I got to get done. It's going to be pretty soon. It's going to be 2 years I've been working on this boat. 2 years of living in sawdust and junk, and I am absolutely sick of it. So ultimately, that's what this comes down to. Is I'm sick of it. And as I've mentioned in the past, oh yeah, for those of you that don't follow the Facebook page, let me flip the camera back around here. You'll know now that I tell you that this boat had a bad infestation of termites. And as you can see here, they got in between the layers of fiberglass of the boat. And there's a balsa wood core that goes all the way around everything. And they just ate it all out. So all of this is soft and squishy. And you can't really repair that. I mean, it's everywhere. The whole boat, it's everywhere. So I mean, it's good enough for my purposes, which are pretty much just to use it as a floating hostel, stay on board, short drives. But it's not an ocean-going vessel. If someone were to come out and get a survey on this, a marine survey, it would not go well. So I'm not going to get all my money back. And that sucks. And I've already got, I don't even know, it's more than $250,000 at this point. And I won't get, even in the finished condition, I doubt that I'll get that much out of it. So, you know, I got to get done. So I'm not doing Lloyd's of London standards, you know. I'm just trying to get done. And I am overwhelmed at this point. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to make myself a comfort drink, because again, I'm sure I've proven myself on this. I'm wore out. I'm exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and I need this. It's a weird microwave. I love it. I just don't really know how to use it. I just press microwave. I select bacon. For some reason, center cut, 1-2 slices start, and whatever. It works. And then I use this dial to adjust the time. But the cool thing about this microwave, just to divert for a second, it has a heating element inside of it, so you can use it as an actual oven, which is unique. So if you cooked up some stuff here on the grill, cooking for a big group, you can put it up in there and keep it warm. I mean, you can do the same thing with the other oven, but either way, it's cool. So yeah, what I'm doing here today is this little drink that I have come up with. Look at all my spices. Little comfort drink that I come up with. Goes at night when I'm hosting. I need that again to, sorry, I'm getting distracted. At night, I need that. More background so you can see me. At night, I need that to not drink coffee, because I won't go to sleep if I drink coffee. If I drink coffee right now, and the time is currently 2:13 p.m., if I drink coffee right now, I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. 1 cup. I can do 1 cup a day. That's it. So I was like, well, what have I got in the fridge? What can I use? And I recalled in the deep recesses of my mind back when I was a boy, and I would have warm milk and honey. And I thought, that sounds actually pretty good. Use them calories. But I wanted more than just warm milk and honey, so I throw a little bit of nutmeg and cinnamon and vanilla in there. And just the smell. I mean, I could sit there and smell it. That's a nice comfort. So anyway, I'm gonna make that up. So anyhow, back to what I was saying, the whole point of this. Emotional toll. Working on this boat. Now for 2 years, like I said, it's been 2 years in, well, beginning of April. I will have started working on things the beginning of April of 22. Now, I haven't worked exclusively on the boat during that time. There's been a lot of other stuff that I've worked on. Namely, my pickup truck. That was a big project. I have an old 1960 Chevy truck that I did a restore on. A Ryan restore, I should say. Which is very similar to what I did with Andromeda. Whereas that truck, I knew I wasn't going to get the money back out of it. And I use it for work also. Well, it's primarily for work. It's not like a classic enjoy car. It's a truck. I use the hell out of my truck. So new engine, a new body on the front cab. Had to paint the thing, which I've not painted anything before. So that was a learning experience. I screwed it up too, by the way. A lot of body work I had to do, rust removal. But not all rust removal. I want it to look patina, so I painted over a lot of the rust. And that rust is finally coming through. Which is, kind of sad. It's kind of sad to watch the new luster of the paint disappear. But it is ultimately what I want it to look like, so that's alright. Anyway, long story short, I probably worked several months finishing up my truck project. Because I started that job before I got this boat. I probably would not have started it if I already had this boat. In fact, I might have gotten rid of the truck. Because it was in pretty bad shape before I started the project. And I knew I had to either sell it and get a new one, or do what I did to it. So anyhow, yeah, I worked several months on that project. And I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania with my kids. And I worked on stuff up there. I worked on the truck up there. I have like sort of a garage up there. Everything is so expensive here. It's just ridiculous. It's just easier to get 2 birds with 1 stone. I go up and I do my work there. Stuff that I wouldn't, that doesn't have anything to do with a boat. Stuff that I need a garage for. So I do all that up there. Spend time with the kids while I'm there. It's good. It's a good thing. But this project has probably at least consumed me for a year. Another few projects that I worked on during that time were my tikis. I had to rethatch both of them, which took a lot of work. Toilet work, electrical work. There's all kinds of stuff that is constantly needing to be done over there. But nevertheless, it is 2 years, and at some point, I need to be done here. Good Lord. And now that I'm hosting, which began this Christmas, that makes it even harder. Like, especially a job like today. Let me show you here. So, I have this hole in the floor. This is the salon. And I got this hole that I've left in the floor deliberately so that I could pull it out and pull through like major engine components, or in this case, lumber and materials. My mattress is going to have to come down through here because it won't go down that stairway. That's the door to the engine room, so I got a nice straight shot to come through. I could set up a little crane and lift heavy stuff out of here. This is the panel that drops in. Just drops right in there. But, you know, I have to move the couch out of the way, so the couch is over here. I mean, I've got my laundry and stuff here just because I'm running out of time. This is where I just sit at the end of the day. It's usually 8, 9 o'clock before I finally sit down. And I just throw this blanket on it so all of my sawdust that's all over me can just, you know, not get all over the good furniture. But, I mean, it's a wreck in here. I mean, just look at that. Tools, all of my equipment's over on the table, plywood over there, insulation board over here, dust on everything. And as I work, I don't have time to clean. So, you know, it is a mess. And to clean this mess up, it's going to take me probably a couple of hours at least. So, yeah. Hosting while working is very difficult to achieve. But I blocked out this, I think it's been a week, pretty close to a week now that I haven't had anybody on the boat, which that's a tough thing for me because I need to get the work done, but also I could use the money coming in as well since things have been pretty slow. But I'm in a rock and a hard place situation whereby I need the money, but I need the work done too. So anyhow, yeah, I think I'm rambling. Tomorrow, what's today? Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow I've got a guy coming in. So I have got to get that floor done. At least done to a point that I can be done. So Wednesday I'm hosting. Thursday he'll take off. Then Friday morning I got a flight back to Pittsburgh. And I'll be back the following Monday. But I'm pretty much done. Like, whatever I get done today and tomorrow is pretty much what I'll get done. Some stuff on Thursday, but I don't really want to tear into stuff. What I might actually do is just go into town and get my shopping and stuff done. Take the rest of the day off for myself and rest and recover. Because when I get into this stuff, man, I just go. There's nothing else in my life that I do. It's just work. Well, that's not entirely true. I do sit down at the end of the night and I'll put on a show that I don't particularly care to watch, screw around on my phone. Do that for maybe an hour, 2 hours, and then I go to sleep. But as soon as I get up in the morning, that's it, man. I'm on it. And I just go all day long. It's exhausting. It wears me out. And if I was just doing it for, you know, a few weeks at a time, or even just for 1 year, that would be okay. But I've been doing this for, I don't even know how long. Because before this, I've had other projects on the go. I'm wore out, man. I'm burned out. I've got to get this salon finished. I've got to be able to rest there. You know, walk in here and see a salon finished out, the master cabin finished out, all this stuff done. Not have all this weighing on my shoulders. So I can start on to my next projects and ambitions in life, which include traveling. I don't know, but let me take a swig of this here. Oh. All right, so my coffee mug says, "The need for connection and community is primal, as fundamental as the need for air, water, and food." And I got these mugs set up so that they can be souvenirs for the customers when they show up, as well as just regular cups to drink from. And I got a few different phrases. That's a good one, because that's really what the listing is about. It's community. It's bringing people together to socialize, because we don't have very many opportunities in our society to do that anymore. I guess it used to be. If I think back to a time, I guess I got the very tail end of it. It was pretty much dried up, I feel like, by the time I was aware of it back in the 90s. It was church, you know, like your church and maybe your neighbors, maybe if you lived in a neighborhood setting. That's where you would get together and socialize. People would do block parties and stuff, right? Nobody does that anymore. And if they are, it's not bread, mainstream stuff. That's an unusual thing. I guess people do go to church still, but I would say it's not like the culture used to be, where everybody went to church. Like, you were weird if you didn't go to church. I would say now you're weird. People look at you as weird if you do go to church. But aside from that, like, where can you go? Where can you go to strike up a conversation with somebody? Or that even if you just wanted to spontaneously start a conversation talking to a complete stranger, that would be accepted. Not at the supermarket, not at the bookstore, not at the movies, certainly not at a restaurant. So, I mean, we're limited. Trying to figure out what I can do to help that whole thing on a larger scale beyond the confines of Key West on this boat. It works out here because this boat is it's serving two purposes. It's serving as an on-the-water experience, and it's also serving as a lodging accommodation. And so when you combine the cost of both of those things together on a per-person basis, right now I'm charging $99 a person to come out here. And you got to pay for your water shuttle too and stuff, but I pay either 50 or 75% of that shuttle for you, so it's either $13.75 or $27.50 each way. Max cost, it's an extra $55 on top of that for your water shuttle. But I mean, that's pretty good for Key West. That's on par to be able to have basically a sunset on the water, which you'll pay easily $75 a person just to do sunset on the water, and then a place to stay at night. So it entices people to come out and do this anyway on a price point. And when they get here, what they realize is that there's this unexpected, as I said, community. We create our own little community for the night with people we've never met before, but who are, of a unique type of person. You got to be a unique type of person to want to come out and do something like this. And we have great conversations, and that was where the whole podcast came about. All of the hundreds and hundreds of conversations that I've had on the back of the old sailboat Andromeda that I never recorded. I never recorded a single one. And I'm so disappointed now because I wish I could go back and hear them. They weren't all gems, that's for sure. But that's sort of what makes it all the more special. Like, it's just regular people talking. And as I said, where can you really just hear regular people talking? Just even as a subscriber, I don't know. I don't know of anywhere. I know good podcasts, great conversations, engaging, intriguing conversations, but what if you just want to hear people talking? Like if I'm home by myself and I'm bored and alone and I just want to know that there's other human beings in the world and I could put something on, I think this would be a good fit for that kind of background noise. At times we do have good, engaging conversations, but for the most part, it's just normal people talking. So, yeah, that's just a summary of what goes on here when there's guests on board. And what's been going on here when guests are not on board is just me working. I'm just working one step at a time, one brick at a time. Not literally, of course, but every little bit that I do, that's it. I'm a little bit closer to the end goal. When I was just in here a little bit ago, looking at this flooring job and getting overwhelmed and feeling not quite defeated, but overwhelmed, I think is the right word. I was remembering when I had the floor tore out in the galley and the bridge. I was like, oh my God, what a mess. Can't even use my kitchen. I had to move the stove and the refrigerator out. Everything was torn apart. Man, it was a huge wreck. And I remember thinking, this is never going to get done. This is going to take forever to do. And I hate to think back to it. I shudder to think back to it. I don't want to remember this stuff. I mean, I'm sure I will in 10 years, but right now I do not. I want to get as far away from these memories as I can. But it did get done. Still not completely done. I still got to do trim work and some painting. I got to finish the bench seat in on the bridge. There's still work to do. But like I got to get out of the woods. And I'll be out of the woods, but I'll still have the outer edge of the woods, which is the brush, which is like the worst part of the woods. It's where the thorns and stuff are. But whatever. Got to get that master cabin finished. Because part of the thing with that being done is, in addition to being able to offer that for rent, I'm also going to be staying in that when it's not rented and renting out the 2 forward cabin spaces, which I do get a lot of inquiries on because they're private. People want more of a private thing. They're too nervous about this whole idea of sharing a space with other people and just a privacy curtain. Even though I explain it to them like, hey, if you've ever slept on a plane, that is there's way less privacy in a plane than there is on this boat. On this boat, I got a nice big heavy privacy curtain. It's a blackout curtain. You slide that thing shut and you're like in your own little space. And I've stayed in hotel rooms that the walls were basically as soundproof as a curtain anyway. But regardless, people still want that space back there. So I guess I'll. Well, I do. I have to get out of there. I have to get back into my own space, and then that'll free up the forward cabin so that I can. Well, actually, before I can rent it, I really need to finish up those toilets too and the floor. There's more work in there. There's work everywhere. There's so much work to do. The salon is probably going to be the last thing that I do because when it's clean, it's not that bad. I do want to get the cabinetry finished being built first, or not first, but pretty quickly, which I think if I really hit it hard, focus my attention on it, I'll probably get the cabinetry done within a week or 10 days. I think it'll all be done. Give me 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I ought to be finished with all the rest of the framing that I have to do. All the different aspects of this that need to be done. I gotta get to it, Get that master done first, though. I think 3 months. It's gonna take me 3 months to get that finished. So I started, let's call it mid-January. If I started mid-January, and if I'm able to stick on it through mid-February, which I do have some bookings in between here and there, but if I can, again, get most of this work done that I can just pull the couch apart and just drop my pieces in. No, it's the sawdust, it's the dust that creates such a problem. But I got to get in there, and I've got to get my saw and everything set up in there in the middle of the floor so I could just get down there with a bunch of boards and start cutting. Because right now I have to go back and forth and back and forth. I have the shed dock in the back. I go out there and I get the wood and then I cut it out there and then I bring it in here. I have my circular saw downstairs, but I don't have the table saw down there because I don't have a floor. It's kind of a problem. I'm definitely going to need that table saw. So once I get everything set up in there, I can just go in there, close the door, isolate my dust, and work. Just bring a whole bunch of material down there, work one side, get the bathroom done, get the cabinetry built on the one side, move my material over to the side that's done, build out the other side. Hopefully March is busy. And if it is busy, I'll be focused primarily on hosting because that's like the busiest month of the whole year. And I've got to make that cash because I know, like as slow as this is going right now for January, I know this is going to be a slow spring. I mean, I may be in the red for spring. And I want to make sure that I have enough cash to continue working on the boat as well as put food in the fridge. So that's going to be the priority in March. So even if I say mid-March, I'm sorry, all of March, let's call it all of March. And let's say that in between for the month of February, 50-50 booking, not really being able to work. So let's just call it I'll be able to work 1 month between mid-January through the end of February. That's 1 month. I'll skip the month of March, work April and May. That's 3 months. So by the end of May, I ought to have the master cabin finished. And then June, my daughter wants to come down, spend time down here in June, which is fine. She can hang with me and work on this. Although she's growing up, maybe I need to just take some time and be with her. Either way, whether I work June or I don't work June, it'll be one more month to get the salon done. Although by the time summer hits, before summer hits, I need to get my solar panels all installed up on the top roof, which won't take long. Maybe a few days of work on that. Getting the wiring all pulled through, the solar controller hooked up. Oh, I've got a big battery bank to put in too. That's coming. I might have a week of work on this new system. I'll get it done. That's actually good work that I can do while I'm hosting, because I can do a little bit at a time. It's not a big messy job, you know. It's just work. So I'll get that done sometime, probably in March. And then because I don't want to use a lot of fuel in the generator this summer, because again I probably won't have much money to use. Although I do anticipate this is going to be a busier summer, because we usually have people from South Florida who travel down to the Keys because it's their backyard for the summer vacation. People from the north don't usually come here because they're scared of the heat, and they could go anywhere in the country at that point in time, and it's nice. So I think July I'll be busy. I'll be working in July. July is historically the second busiest month of the year. August is usually pretty good also. September is hurricane month. The scary hurricanes come then. I don't know. I'll get the salon done when I get the salon done. That's important to me, but right now I've got to get the master cabin finished. So I guess I'm going to finish off my drink. Thanks for listening to me whine and complain about my overwhelm issues. And yeah, I guess I'll do another podcast here probably. I guess it's tomorrow night is when I got my other guy coming. So we'll see if he wants to do one or not. All right, guys. Well, take care. Thanks for listening. We'll see you.